Alrighty, and now it's time for two grand final sides against each other. People are really enjoying this segment. People love this shit. I was a bit worried that people are like, a bit of nothing king. But the amount of feedback we got, people saying they just love the chat around what ifs and all that kind of stuff has been really cool. So we'll keep doing it for as long as I think during the season, obviously, there's too much to talk about for us to be doing this. But obviously before the season starts, we'll keep doing it. Guys, do not forget, though, 50% off everything for 50 hours. So the 50 for 50 sale, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Be there, limited amount, brand new shirts dropping Country Bloke, Beach Bloke, and also City Bloke, limited supply. So once they're gone, and everything else as well. We've got party shirts, we've got board shorts, we've got thongs, we've got singlets, we've got other bloke shirts, all there on bloke.shop. It is 50% off everything for 50 hours. But let's get into it. We have chosen this week Broncos 2006 versus Cowboys 2015. I thought this was a really good one because obviously Broncos and Cowboys played each other 2015. Cowboys got the job done. And also two Queensland sides. So in the North Queensland side, we have Coote at fullback, Feldt on the wing, O'Neill and Lynette in the centres, Winterstein on the wing, Michale Morgan and Johnathan Thurston in the halves. We've got Matt Scott and Taumalolo up front. We've got Granville at 9, Cooper in the second row, Lowe, second row, Taumalolo, Lock. We've got Costashan. How do you say that? Jason. John Asiata, Scotty Bolton, Benny Omelette, also Benny Hadnett. What did I butcher it?
That was just the Cos Jason. That was unreal.
What?
When you said Cos Jason, I didn't even know who you were talking about. I had to look up.
Who is that?
Roy Cos Jason. He is a hooker, played for the Cowboys. He went to the Knights after. He got hit in the throat with a ball at training and had to retire off the back of the show.
No way. Yeah, missed a fix. It was like good utility.
Good utility.
He's very handy. Yeah.
Hey, fucking good on him. Good on the bloke. Winning a Prem. Now, Brisbane Broncos, Justin Hodges at 1, Darius Boyd 2, Brent Tate 3, David Stagg 4. The great Staggy. Oh, stop
Bit
it.
of movement at the bar.
Oh, shit.
I was going to say, I'm not going to have much impact on this conversation. Two Queensland teams, but then I saw Stagg. I'm like, get me in, sir. Get me in, coach.
Carmichael Hunt at 5, D. Lockyer, the great Darren Lockyer at 6, the great Shane Perry, one of the GOATs at 7, Shane Webcke, Petro Sivanasiva front row. What a joke. Sean Berrigan, number 9. Samatade. Actually, delete that. Might get in trouble with that. Sam Thaiday at number 11. Brad Thorn, number 12. Brad Thorn at 12? Oh, that's the biggest wide running forward ever. Tony Carroll at 13. Corey Parker, 14. Dane Carlaw, 15. Ben Hannett, the omelette. He's got back-to-back. Benny Hannett at 16. Casey Maguire at number 17. Boys, how do we see this game playing out if they played each other?
I'd be leaning towards the Brisbane side off the top. That forward pack that you read out, that's unbelievable. You obviously brought up Brad Thorn and you would have known him and played with him, but I think that because he went to Union and stuff, I think league fans, he's a little bit underappreciated.
Massively underappreciated.
He was, from like an achievement standpoint, he was like Sonny Bill before Sonny Bill. He would go and win a World Cup with the All Blacks, and he'd come back and walk into the Kangaroos side. He was incredible, Brad Thorn, and to have Shane Webcke and Petro Sivanasiva, just crazy. And I mean, when you go through this Cowboys side, you've got Johnathan Thurston, Michale Morgan. There's no other real superstars in the back line. They were just a consistent good team that was built around Johnathan Thurston. Forward pack, you've always got Matty Scott, James Tarmale, two, international rep players. But even the back row, Gavin Cooper, Ethan Lowe, both very solid players. But I wouldn't compare them to the Brisbane back rowers. But Taumalolo is obviously a huge in there.
It's going to be a big call, the Taumalolo one.
It's going to be brutal. Yeah.
Timmy, who you see winning this one?
We'll start with the Brisbane Broncos top tacklers. Number 1, Corey Parker, 30. Number 2, on 27, in 55 minutes at centre, D. Stagg, 27 tackles. In 55 minutes at centre.
That's so good. That is fucking unbelievable.
Efficiency, 96.4%.
Oh, stop it. The great Stagginator.
Interesting, though. So he played 55 minutes at centre. Kempy, did he... Was he right?
Well, maybe Hodjo went to the centres, then Kay went to fullback maybe, and someone jumped on the wing. I'm not sure.
Find that one out, but yeah.
Or Tunza, maybe Tunza moved out, or it'd be interesting.
I don't know, or if Was there an injury there or something to Stagg? It wouldn't be an injury. Would have played through.
Maybe Barrow went there. Sean Berrigan.
That, yep. Good
and
call.
then maybe like...
No, I think Berrigan played hooker the entire game, didn't he? He got Clive Churchill.
He did,
I'm pretty sure he did play hooker the entire game.
Anyway,
we'll work it out.
Who you have winning? Cowboys or
mate, the Broncos team. It's pretty... Like, that's one of the better teams the NRL's ever seen. No disrespect to the Cowboys side, but that's a pretty iconic Broncos 17 there, isn't it?
Well, when you look at that, you go, they weren't even favourites for that grand final. Melbourne Storm were favourites. And they were like tipped to win, quite, not substantially, but as in a lot of people tipped the Storm to win that one. But anyway, let's go through the sides then. I think Broncos win, and I think they win well.
Just on this Broncos side, Kempy, like, for people to know, like 2005, they were first from week 5 or 6 all the way through. They lost their last 7 games in a row in 05. So there was a bit of pressure in this side coming into 06. And then they lost Michael Ennis. So Wayne Bennett went, fuck, don't have a hooker. I'll move my centre there, Sean Berrigan. He ended up getting Clive Churchill. Carmichael Hunt at that point, he was unbelievable. And about 3 weeks out from finals, Wayne went, you would have been there for it. Like, it was a sudden thing. It was out of the blue. Hodjo hadn't really played fullback before.
Yeah, and Hodjo went back there and was like running for 300 metres, killing it at the back.
And they also had to win to get into this game, which you can talk about more.
The Bulldogs one.
That Bulldogs game, and Hodjo was huge. The old story is, I think it was, the rumour is that Willie Mason said...
I don't think it's a rumour. I think, so at halftime they were up by a substantial margin. And Willie Mason yelled out to his team. He didn't yell it out to rub it in. He yelled out, boys, like 40 minutes and we're in a grand final.
Yeah.
Like, I understand where Willie's coming from with that. What he's saying is, boys, we just have to go hard for 40 and we're in a grand final. But if you're in the opposition, you can take that as, so you've already won the fucking game, have you? And apparently that's what, riled the boys right up. They came out the second half. Justin Hodges makes a fucking half the length of field break. Sean Berrigan scores one of the great finals tries, puts the ball over his head as he gets tackled in the corner. The rest is history.
I grew up sort of a long way from Sydney, so I always had a really soft spot for the Bulldogs growing up. Loved them as a club, loved the Raiders, but really passionately around the Doggies when I was a young fella, and I was particularly young around that time. And that prelim final of just the Barrow masterclass off the bench and turning the game.
Yep.
I shouldn't say underappreciated. I think it was appreciated, but I think people forget how big a game that was we're talking right now about this Brisbane Broncos side because of Sean Berrigan's masterclass in that prelim to get him over the line.
Absolutely.
And I think with this Brisbane side too, you need to remember their first final that year, they played the Dragons. They actually lost to them in that game. Then they played Newcastle. Now, 2005 Newcastle, the year where Joey went on an absolute fucking tear. I think he got 32 Dally M points in like 15 games. They had to beat him. Then they had to beat the Bulldogs, who were the defending premiers.
This would have been 2006, though.
6, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. Scrap all that. Still, the week before, they had to beat the Bulldogs, who had been one of the top tier teams.
Sonny Bill, Willie Mason, Mark O'Malley, so
fucking
name it.
That was almost a grand final within itself.
Shifty
especially
Sherwin.
when you're down at half time.
They have Shifty Sherwin at 7.
Shifty, yeah.
Bloody Shifty Sherwin. He was a master, the bloke. It was a Braith at 6.
Yeah, it would have been Braith at 6, yeah.
What year were we talking? In 05?
06, so it would have been very similar to their premiership winning side. And then they had to beat the Melbourne Storm in the grand final.
Yeah.
So,
and the Melbourne Storm, when you look at that side, you're going, what the fuck is going on there?
So, interesting looking at the top 8 in 06, and the Broncos finished 3rd, and just the old cliche of defence wins premierships. The Broncos, not a long way off, but actually had the worst attack in the top 8. They were about 100 off the top teams in the Storm and Doggies, but the best defence in the NRL. It's just everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Every year in, year out, it's defence.
Yeah. And as you said when you read out these team lists, the great D. Lockyer, you've got to remember too, this is only 2 years after Lockyer moved to 5'8" as well.
Yep.
And he's got Shane Perry next to him at halfback.
Yep. Absolutely. So, okay, let's go through. Who do we select? So at 1, you've got the great Justin Hodges versus Lachlan Coote. I'm going Hodjo.
I'm going Hodjo. Yep.
Hodjo.
Timmy. Matty.
Yeah, I'll go Justin Hodges as well.
On the pick and swing, we've got D. Boyd, the great Darius Boyd, Carmichael Hunt versus Antonio Winterstein and Kyle Felt. I'm going to go Kyle Felt, Darius Boyd on the Stinks.
I would pick Carmichael Hunt in just about any matchup ever. Love Carmichael, so I'm going to go with him, and I think I'd go Boyd.
On the Sting?
Yep.
Wow. I mean, I'd go him at fullback for sure. Like,
Yeah.
no doubt. I wouldn't put him on the sting. Cole Felt, he won the game.
I'm a little torn because obviously throw Darius there, but Carmichael. I'm just trying to remember him on the wing. Like I remember him kamikazing even from
wonder what his stats
even
were
from
like.
the wing. I'm just trying to remember.
The only reason why I'd like K for me is like he kept Billy Slater out of Queensland. Like he's
Yeah.
incredible, but just as a winger, an out and out winger, I'd put Felt there.
I just don't remember enough about him on the wing. So
He didn't really play that much at all.
He's
Like,
pretty much
that's
this
why
stint
it's
and
hard.
that's it.
Yeah.
yeah. So I suppose I'll go Boyd and Felt for that reason.
I'm Boyd and Felt, and I'm sticking with Felt a lot because of what he did in that grand final. Yes, he put the ball down, but he also had like a match-turning tackle that like changed possession. He also put the kick-off up that unfortunately for Benny Hunt dropped, but it was like a great kick. So yeah, I can't leave Cole Felt out.
Okay. Centers, you've got Brent Tate, David Stagg versus Lynette, Justin O'Neill. I am going Tatey and Staggy.
Yeah, Brent Tate's an automatic, and I'd probably go Stagg as well.
Tate and Stagg, captain coach.
Yeah, me too.
Now, in the halves, you've got D. Lockyer, Shane Perry versus Thurston and Michale Morgan. I mean, it's obvious. You go Thurston, Darren Lockyer. but it's criminal that Michale Morgan is
My 14, Michael Morgan.
He's got to be the 14. Far out, he was good in that final.
And also, Milford was arguably the best on ground in that grand final.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but obviously you go Locky Thurston.
What
Might
if,
even play Morgo at centre.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Morgan
there's a
centre.
good call.
That is a good
Yeah.
course. He did it in Origin really well as
Did
well.
really well.
What
Yeah.
about if Thurston was wearing the 6 in this game and it was
Oh,
Lockyer
give me a
v-
break. Lockyer all day. Lockyer all day, baby.
Sorry, I don't know why I haven't said Milford. I got totally mixed up there.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
wanna,
my
like-
bad. I'm looking at the wrong Broncos team.
I don't like ruining flows of podcasts, so I just let it go.
Sorry, I had a shocker.
Okay, so yeah, D-Lock and obviously the great Thurston. Up front, Webcke Petro versus Matt Scott Tarmow. I'm going Webcke Petro every day of the week. Matt Scott Tarmow, fantastic, but Webcke Petro. That's arguably the greatest front row all time.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to go with the Brisbane boys.
Yeah, I'm Brisbane boys, but Matt Scott at his peak, for a long time,
Yeah.
at his peak was so good.
I know. If he's against any other forward pack, he'd get a massive look in, but it's just Webcke Petro. It's criminal that we had those two in the front row. With Darren Lockyer, like the side was stacked.
Yeah, same, but probably the harshest one of the.
Easy though.
Yeah.
Scott not being in that front row is a harsh omission. I will say people are going to be like, man, you've purposely chosen like a stacked Broncos side versus a battler North Queensland side. But then the reason I chose them is because of the both Queenslanders.
And try finding a Brisbane team that won a comp that wasn't stacked.
It's true. Okay, then we've got at 9 Granville versus Berrigan. I'm going Berrigan.
Yeah, Berrigan for me.
Barrow, Granville, outstanding in the grand final.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Barrow got the Club Churchill.
Yeah, both great games, but got to go Berrigan.
Okay, now on the edge we've got Sam Thaiday, Brad Thorn versus Gavin Cooper, Ethan Lowe. I'm going Thaiday, Thorn.
Yeah, Brad Thorn automatic. Sam Thaiday. Yeah, Sam Thaiday, I think. Gavin Cooper was tremendous for the
Yeah.
Cowboys during that period, but can't leave.
Was he
Sam
playing
Thaiday
Origin
out.
during that period, or was it a bit later?
I think it was a bit later,
Yeah.
but his combination with Thurston was unbelievable.
Was that the year he scored like some absurd amount of tries?
I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was right up there with most tries for a forward
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
He's got a hat trick that year as well against
Yeah.
Para.
Yeah, Broncos boys for sure.
Yeah, it's tough, but got to go the Broncos.
Now this is a red hot one. I'm going Taumalolo over Tony Carroll. And Tunza for me is a beast. But Taumalolo, I personally think Taumalolo on his day is the greatest forward of all time. I don't think there's any other forward that could do what he's done.
Yeah, I agree.
on his day, guys. Don't say, not saying career wise.
Yeah, I'd go with Taumalolo, but geez, Tunza was a footballer.
Oh, mate, his defense.
Another guy I put on the bench, even if I don't need him, he's on my bench.
Oh, easy. Every day of the week. Timmy?
Yeah, Taumalolo pretty comfortably. Love big tons of Carroll, one of the all-time greats, but Taumalolo, with your Kemp, he is the all-time great, just about.
Yep.
at
You
the
look at his
lock.
stats, you can't really beat him.
Yeah, got to be honest. I'd probably pick Taumalolo before any forward in either team here. He's probably
You pick him over Webcke and
Yeah.
wow, big
Yeah.
call, but I understand it. It's not a crazy call, that's for sure.
It's hard to compare those guys.
Yeah. Okay, so on the bench we've got the great Corey Parker versus Rory Kostjason. Jason, you going Cozza?
Yeah, I think you have to go with Corey Parker.
Corey.
Corey. Asiata versus Dane Carlaw. I'm going Carlaw.
Yeah, Dane Carlaw.
Carlo.
Omelette versus the omelette. Benny Hanna versus Benny Hanna. I'm going Benny Hanna every day of the week. Casey Maguire versus Scotty Bolton. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going Casey Maguire.
Yeah, I think considering the rest of the bench we've picked, I would go with Casey Maguire there too.
Yeah, and I think just the makeup of the bench. Yeah, the makeup of the bench we picked. You need a utility. There, so Casey Maguire.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. So we only had Lockyer. We had Thurston. We had Taumalolo.
And a couple of us had Felt.
And three of us had Felt. Outside of that, Broncos clean sweep.
I thought we brushed past pretty quickly the Thurston v Shane Perry debate. I thought at least deserved a mention, a conversation.
Well, you reckon Perry's been robbed?
Oh, Sugar Shane Perry.
1 season of NRL, a premiership. I think he might have played
resume.
1 or 2 games after that.
Yeah. 1 premiership as a halfback each though.
Mate, what a fun. Yeah. And Shane Perry in Q Carp was the master. He was the king. He was out at Redcliffe, and they used to play the Clydesdales. Clydesdales stacked with reserve graders from Broncos. Redcliffe, battlers that all work in that. And they'd beat us sometimes. They'd beat us probably maybe as much as we beat them. Maybe you could argue more. That's how good that Redcliffe system was. Hook actually was. That's where Hook came through, that Redcliffe system.
As Guru touched on, what it took JT 16 odd seasons to win essentially, I suppose 1.5 premierships. Sugar Shane Perry, 1 attempt, 1 could be. 100% strike rate.
How many games do you reckon Shane Perry played?
30.
57.
57.
Made his debut in 1999.
All for Broncos?
No, he made his debut with the Magpies in 99.
Okay.
Bulldogs 2000, 2001, and then he arrived at first.
How many did he play for the Broncos?
20 plus 16 plus 7, about 40 something.
Really? The great Shane
43.
Perry.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. The great Shane Perry. So it looks like Broncos getting the win here. Again, guys, I didn't select this intentionally. It was because of the 2 Queensland side. Initially, I was going to go Broncos 2006 versus Storm 2017. That would have been fucking tough to decide.
Underrated side, that 2017 Storm.
Oh, mate.
I think because they won the grand... I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago. Because they won the grand final by so much. I think people sort of...
It's one of those years.
Forget just how good they were, yeah.
I think even before we did the 1-by-1 comparison, you'd say Broncos 06, because if you compare Broncos 06 to Broncos 15, you'd still have Broncos 06 comfortably beating that team, and the Cowboys only just beat that team.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll try and do another one next week, guys. Let us know in the comments section who you'd like us to do, who you'd like us to compare. February 1st, guys, so that's Wednesday, 6 p.m, 50% off everything for 50 hours, brand new shirts dropping. Got anything going on, boys?
Beers and Break Evans, we're back this Wednesday and Thursday, and then trials kick off next week. So very exciting.
God.
How good, eh?
Music to my ears. Next week, guys, we will be previewing rugby league trials. And then the week after that, we will be reviewing rugby league trials. It's the dream, boys. We're back. We're fucking back. Anyway, guys, as usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.